What is this? Yeah,
I,
right.
yeah, I think it's 24, man. So let's get it kicked off, man. You are tuned in to another episode of Rap and Reason Podcast. This is episode 24. I am one of your hosts, Dr. Jeremy C. McCool.
And I'm Earl Hopkins, man. What's going on? How you doing out in the West Coast?
Man, it's good, man. It's dope. Been a good time, man. Came out to San Diego, see some family, see some old friends from out here, man. And San Diego ended up becoming like a second home, man, after Chicago. I was always here going like coming back and forth between San Diego when I was in college. And yeah, man, dope time, man. It's good to get out of the cold for a little while. Even though it ain't as warm as usual out here, which is throwing me
Mm.
off. At night, it's still like 40, 50. You know what I mean? Which I mean in comparison is good.
Yeah, like that's hoodie weather. Like that's
Yeah,
my perfect
facts.
like medium. Like
Yeah,
right
it's
at
not
that
bad.
time. That's why fall is my favorite season. So I'll take it, especially like hitting the beach or like hitting the boardwalk or something like that. Like that's
Yeah.
something that is not here in Philly, unfortunately, bro. It was 18 degrees today. So like when I hear 50, I'm like, bro, I'll probably be in swim trunks, like in comparison, bro. Like world's difference,
No,
dog.
a world different, bro. And I've been to the beach since I've been out here, man. I've been getting some writing down for the book on the beach, man. And it's good to be able to do that in December, in the heart of December.
Mhm.
It was dope, man. And I got to see my boy DJ. Shout out my boy DJ Cool Breeze, also one of our frat bros, but he DJs at this
Nice.
rooftop spot called Altitude in San Diego. If you've never been there, man, go to Altitude on Saturdays, dope rooftop spot in San Diego. Overlooks the whole city, like dope.
Fire.
And then yeah, he DJs there every Saturday. So yeah, check it out if y'all are ever in San Diego, man. Good times though. Good times.
Absolutely. And this weekend I was in New York, just kicking it with friends, family, and everything else, bro. It's wild, bro, because I didn't grow up on the East Coast. So like I interned in New York, but like I never lived there. And living in Philly, like people like to compare the two cities, bro. It's totally different. Like
Night
New
and day.
York is massive, bro.
Yes.
So I'm always kind of in awe. And every time I'm on a train, like I feel like other people, like other passengers who probably work in New York or who frequent it probably more often than me, they still have that same like look, like glimmer in their eye every time you see the Manhattan skyline, bro, because it's just gorgeous. You know what I mean? So, but it's just good kicking in New York. There's so much to do. There's too much to do. You know what I'm saying? So it was a nice
Absolutely.
breakaway for sure.
Nice, nice, man. Yeah. New York is one of them cities, man. It's like it's unlike any other one. Like there's no other
Mhm.
city that I really can compare New York to. Some people try to compare it to Chicago, and I'm like, I don't know how, other than that they're both
Mm,
big cities. Like, other than
yeah.
that, like still night and day difference. And they both have nice skylines, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like that's the
no,
only
Chicago skyline is like probably top five for me easily. Yeah, in the
yeah.
States for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. And
Mm.
but yeah, no, New York is it's a different animal, man. It's too many
For
people,
sure.
man. It's too many
Yeah.
people.
And too much money. Like being on Billionaires Row, you like, this is insane, bro. Like this is crazy. So, it's always good to get a glimpse of it, bro, here and there. But I would never live there. We talked about that a million times. Like
We
I
we
would never live there.
we both talk about this all the time. And the only reason why I never say never is because I mean it gotta be an amazing opportunity. It has to be
Yes.
it has to be an opportunity that I can't do somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it have to be like going to work for a company or a university in an opportunity in space that's like is unlike any other for me to be like, let me move to New York. Just because
Mm.
it's number one, it's just too expensive.
Too expensive, bro.
I was talking to my Uber driver who took me to the airport. Was actually it was from New York, and I was talking to him about that. I was like, bro, how do people from New York? Because he's from the Bronx. I was like, bro, how do
Mm-hmm.
people from New York live in New York, bro? Like with these prices, like I was like, how do
Mm.
he was like, bro, everybody got like four roommates. Like it's like that's just how that's the norm out here. Is like most people, unless you're
Yeah.
like really wealthy, you don't live alone. Like there aren't people in the office. It's like, dang, that's like the norm in the city. It's crazy.
Yeah, the norm.
But
And
but LA
I,
is like the LA
yeah.
is like that too.
It is like my boy. He's a huge film producer there. And he has a roommate, and this man works for one of the top independent black operated like movie production companies there is. Like that's worked with like the Obamas, and everything else, and he's still like roommated up. You know what I mean? It's just a norm. Now, obviously, they're two creative people that happen to live together, like by choice. I'm pretty sure they could live on their own, but but still, like I just wouldn't want that as an adult personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'm with
especially
you.
with my lady, bro. Like nah, we not.
Yeah, because not yeah, that's a whole nother dynamic.
For
Yeah.
sure.
But
Yeah, man.
but yeah, man, we got some dope topics to get into today, man. Another good week for hip hop. And first things first, man. We have reviewed on this podcast before 2014 Forest Hills Drive, an
Hmm.
album that both of us um hold in dear light and really gave great reviews of, and both an
Hmm.
album that both of us really revere, I would say.
Hmm.
Um and I would say both of us probably agree that is that best J. Cole's best project, would you say?
I would say best album for sure. For sure.
Best album
Hmm.
for sure to me too. So 2014 Forest Hill Drive, huge impact, of course, released in 2014. Um, J. Cole's been on the run, as we know, we've discussed before. He's rolled out an
Hmm.
audio series kind of detailing his life and his journey and his career
Hmm.
within hip hop. And recently, um, he decided to roll out all of his old mixtapes. And then he decided to hit us with something else that a lot of people weren't expecting, which is a deluxe version of 2014 Forest Hill Drives that has
Hmm.
how many new songs on it was it?
What is it?
It was a whole
8?
double disc. It was a decent amount of songs. It was yeah, I think it's eight.
Hmm.
Eight brand new tracks on here, man. What never been heard before. I'm guessing that these were like Lucy's from that time, and
Hmm.
songs that he was going to use on the album that didn't end up making it, and he ended up releasing them. And first things first, before we get into the actual Force Hill Drives, what are your thoughts on deluxe albums in general?
So my view on it is like I love how they've been kind of repurposed. Like everybody, like there's always been deluxe versions of albums, but I feel like people actually giving you like more music, more like curated music, like not like some straight B-sides where the production or like the sound quality isn't the same. Like you can tell they put real effort into it. Like I love seeing that because I think it was 2022 when Tyler the Creator put out a deluxe of his wow, I can't even think of the name, but he put out a deluxe album version of the one that DJ Drama like hosted basically. Fire. That was like one of my favorite hip hop albums of that entire year. And it was a deluxe. It wasn't even a full length project. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So I love seeing that, bro.
And
It just adds to the elements that we as hip hop fans really want to see from a lot of these artists, bro. And we can talk about another deluxe album that I think was pretty good, that like a little later, but I think it's always good to hear more music from them, especially if we like love those albums already. You just give us more insight into what mindset you were in musically too.
absolutely,
Fire.
absolutely. And my only negative, I agree with what you said. My only negative with deluxe projects are, I think sometimes they don't reach their full potential. Like those songs don't end up reaching the full potential as they would if they were rolled out to another project. I think sometimes
Mhm.
those songs go under the radar because sometimes people aren't necessarily thinking, okay, let me go check out the deluxe.
Yeah.
And sometimes the artists will put out amazing songs on the deluxe that other people that aren't reaching the masses in the same way that they
Hmm.
would have if they had just put it on another project. So for
Hmm.
sometimes that's the only negative I'll say about it is that sometimes I'm like those I feel like some of the deluxe songs I'll be like, man, this should have been on the regular.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's the only moment that I'm like that. But I love it, man. Anytime when you can get more artists, more music from the artists, I'm always for it. Especially when it's a dope artist who puts a lot of time into their project. And like you said, they're not just
Exactly.
throwaways.
Exactly, exactly. And then sometimes you do get the occasional deluxe album where it's like, we didn't need to hear any of this because it's just chicken
Facts.
scratch music. You feel me? Like for real. Like I love Tizo Touchdown, bro. Like that's an artist we talked about on here where I have like, sparingly, but he's one of my favorite artists. He put out a deluxe album, or deluxe version of the How Do You Sleep at Night album. And I was like, there was no reason we needed to hear any of these songs for real. But
Yeah. And
it
and
works
and
both ways.
Yeah, it works both ways. I think it depends on how much you herald the album. I think in this case,
Mhm.
with this being one of the albums that's most revered from J. Cole, I think that it made sense for him to be able to roll it out on this project because people are going to click on it because of how much people like 2014 Forest Hill Drive. So I think
Exactly.
for this one, it made a lot of sense, even just strategically rolling these songs out into a deluxe. So let's get into it, man. When it comes to the deluxe anniversary, 10-year anniversary edition of 2014 Forest Hill Drives, man. What were your initial thoughts when you heard them?
I like all of these songs to a varying degree, like all of them on disc too. Like my favorites that stand out, that I think actually should be on the album almost, or at least would fit in like seamlessly on the original track list is Black Man in Hollywood. I love that record, bro. Like I don't know, it just
Fire.
brings me back to that time in Cole's like discography, bro, and where he was at musically. And then he has like really deep, enriching stories like he tells on Home Soon or Die Together, like or Judgment Day, even. Like, bruh, this is gold. Like, this is like peak gold for me. I just think certain songs, like the production isn't quite there as it is on the other songs on 2014 Forest Hills Drive. I think that's the only thing holding some of these back. But like as far as the rapping, the storytelling, everything. I even like the Bone Thugs record,
Yeah.
which I didn't expect to like, to be honest. Not because I don't like Bone Thugs or Cole. I just didn't see them making a collab together. So that was kind of like a little surprising for me. But even that song, like it kind of like I kind of like it, yo. Like so, I think if you're gonna do a deluxe, bro, you go this route. Even with that 10-year
Absolutely.
period, you can tell these songs are a bit dated, but they're not like out of touch. You can still play them today, and it feels fresh and new. So yeah, bro, I rock with this deluxe for sure.
Bro, I could not agree with you more. Like listening to this is the type of music everybody likes artists for different reasons. And
Hmm.
the songs on this are the reasons why I really hold Cole up in the highlight as a hip hop artist. It's
Hmm.
these in-depth, heartfelt stories that he tells, and not just the stories that he tells, but the way he tells them, and the way he's able to really convey the messages that he's trying to get across through song. And I think that these are, I like the fact that he didn't try to roll out like some random like club party type record or any of those
Hmm.
type of songs. Like he's like I like that these were the ones that he decided to put out, which are more, which, like I said, tell really, really well thought out, thought provoking stories, that convey what, like I said, convey messages that are very, very intentional.
Hmm.
When we talk about conscious rap and you talk about rap that serves a purpose, I think a lot of times people place limits around that to like it's just like super radical pro black, you know what I mean? And I think Cole does that in a way that's unique because he does it just through straight storytelling. And
Hmm.
I'm going to talk about a scenario, whether it's something that one of my friends went through or somebody I knew, and I'm telling their story in a way that conveys some of the detrimental things that happen, um, to Black people in America, man. And I think that it's dope, and I think he really gets that across. And Home Soon, man, was
Yeah.
crazy listening to it. And I had no idea when he tells stories, sometimes I have no idea where that story is going. That's one of those where I was like, I didn't see where he was going with that second story. Dope. Like the way he tied those two stories together was amazing. Die Together, another one. Love.
Yeah.
There isn't anything on here I don't like. Um, there's ones that I like less, like you said, to varying degrees, but I don't but I like all of them. Um,
Mhm.
Judgment Day, fire.
Fire.
Yeah, like I said, Black Man in Hollywood. Um, even keep having dancing. I like.
Hmm.
I think that like I said, he put out. If you like J. Cole for the songs like some of the stuff that he put on the Truly Yours tape, or if you like Cole for some of the stuff that on Friday Night Lights where he tells
Yeah.
these deep stories about people he knows. And sometimes I don't even know. I think Cole sometimes in his stories, I don't even know if he's even talking about real people. I wonder sometimes
Mhm.
is he just like flexing his pen and seeing if he could tell a story in a way, almost like how like Joyner Lucas. I don't know if
Yeah,
you're familiar
exactly.
with Joyner Lucas's stuff. I like Joyner Lucas's storytelling. I think he's amazing at storytelling. Um, I don't, but a lot of his stories I could tell like these are probably fictitious stories. He might pull stuff from real life, but
Yeah, maybe
um,
dramatize it a little bit. Yeah, you can
yeah,
kind of tell a
absolutely.
little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for Cole, I don't feel like he does that. I feel like these are real stories, but but
Yeah.
you never know.
Hmm.
But either way, like I think Cole is one of the best storytellers. And I think that it really shined on these songs, man. And I'm not even just gassing this. Like I really love these songs. Like
Yeah.
listening to
No,
it,
this is dope.
I didn't know what to expect on this too. Like when I clicked it, I had no expectations on that front. Like I wasn't going into it like, oh, I think this is gonna be hard. Like I just was like, all right, let me check this out. I know we need to talk about it on the podcast. Like I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Let me hear what he has. And go
Hmm.
and listening to it in the car, I was like, oh no, this is that Cole. Okay.
Yeah, bro. He was
Yeah.
in his bag with this one, bro. And I think like the way he's finished out the year is just impressive. The way he rolled this out, one with the inevitable series, which I'm finishing now, which is dope. He really gives you insight into like where he was like throughout like his real like ascension during that time, leading pretty much up into 2014 Forest Hills Drive. And then on top of that, he did the concert. Like he did the I streamed it obviously because I couldn't be there in New York to see it in person, but the fact that that was what it was, and it was a dope performance, really intimate as it seems like certain Cole performances typically are at this point, where he's just basketball shorts, some J's on, a t-shirt, and he's really just connecting with his audience, like in a way that like maybe certain other artists don't do the same thing, you know?
Absolutely.
And so then to drop it and for this two or the deluxe to be this potent, bro, like he really finished out this year strong. Where it at a time, me as a Cole fan, I was like, I don't really like how this year is going for my man. It's like he really stepped up with the features, the inevitable series, and now this deluxe, bro. How do you feel like Cole wrapped up 2024?
Amazing, bro. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
that this is the best rollout I've seen in a long time
Mm-hmm.
for an artist of Cole's stature. For an artist who's already been out for over a decade, I think that I haven't seen any of them have this type of year in a long time. Like, I mean, outside of Kendrick, the year Kendrick had is really just different. You know what I
That's
mean?
alien
You really,
like.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
alien. Like you really can't compare anything to what we saw from Kendrick this year. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But like outside of that, bro, like Cole, the way Cole has decided to roll out his past mixtapes, the way that this project sounds, and what type of songs he decided to put out in this moment, I just think that Cole is. I mean, if I had to rank who had the best years in hip hop, it's Kendrick and Cole are like neck and neck for me. It's not like I think you could say Kendrick had a better year just because of how big his impact was, especially with the
Mm-hmm.
whole rap battle. But I think that it's like this this was a strong way to finish out. Like and I think it was a reminder of like, hey, this is why Cole is revered in this way. And I think that he was able to remind people of that. A lot of times we've talked about how mixtapes get lost in translation just because of the fact that we don't have access to them on streaming platforms. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that a lot of times when people talk about an artist's discography, you don't necessarily um, include in their mixtapes. Like when for the new generation, when they think about Lil Wayne, they weren't around for the droughts and the dedications and the no ceilings and the
Exactly.
so they might not even look at it like that because if they're not going on that piff or looking it up on YouTube, they're not necessarily as familiar or versed in some of those mixtapes during that time. So I think that same thing applies for Cole. So I think even him rolling out those old projects was massive, man. And I think it has everybody going back and remembering the impact and the legacy and how different Cole was during that time. And I think he finished out strong. And I think, like I said, even listening to this project, it was another reminder. It's like, oh yeah, Cole really gets in his bag when it comes to telling stories, man.
Yeah, no, he's amazing, bro. And again, if it wasn't for Kendrick, I think we would be walking away saying Cole had the biggest year. And this is a year where Tyler the Creator dropped, where Corday dropped,
Big
like there's some big
Sean,
artists, Big
Eminem,
Sean, Eminem, yeah. And I still say, okay, I think Cole would have had the bigger year. So that's crazy, bro.
and this is on top of we're not even accounting for the project he dropped earlier this year,
Exactly. We didn't even take that into
which he's
account. That
also
dropped in
rapping,
March or April.
and he's
Yeah.
rapping at a crazy level on there. Like, so it's like
Hmm.
when you
And it's
account
Grammy
for
nominated too, the
also
album.
also Grammy nominated. So
Hmm.
it's like for artists like I said, if Kendrick didn't do what he did,
Yeah.
it would be a no brainer. It would be like okay, even if I'm gonna be honest, even if you take out if you just take out the rap battle between Drake and Kendrick,
Mhm.
I would say J Cole had the biggest year,
Yeah, I would agree.
even with GNX included.
Oh, even with GNS,
correct?
is the like that verse still? Are we still
No,
taking that into account?
I'm taking out all any beef related
Okay.
songs.
Okay. I'm not the only reason why I would still go with Kendrick is because I think I'm blinded by the moment. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
I'm still blinded by the moment for sure.
no,
Because
I might too.
it's clouding over my
Cr
judgment.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. I
Yeah.
understand. It's
Yeah.
hard to think about it not happening.
That's what I'm saying. But I will say, like, he has records from GNX that are like top the
Amazing.
Billboard. You know what I mean? So I don't know if anything from maybe I'll delete later really top Billboard or
No.
garner the same level of attention other than the Kendrick Lamar disc, which is a shame, bro, because there's like dope records on that album, bro. Like a
Oh yeah,
lot. What's the
absolutely.
joint with Traded Truth in
Oh yeah,
Ibiza?
Trade the Truth and the Bees. That one's crazy.
Stupid.
I'll
Stupid.
I'll play that song. That song is in regular rotation still. That's still on the
Yeah.
playlist.
Especially
And
because you out in Cali, bro. Are you listening to GNX differently now that you out
let
in
me
Cali?
tell you something. And you know what? That's why I had to. I almost took back what I just said. Let me
Mhm.
tell y'all. I had the opportunity to be outside a little bit. When I first got
Mhm.
here, I was a little under the weather. But the last couple days, I've been outside in these Cali streets a little bit. Let me
Yeah.
tell y'all, GNX, when you listen to it on the West Coast,
Mm.
when you're watching people crip walk when it's playing, when you're seeing the culture of
Yeah.
that surrounded with it, different,
It has to be different, bro.
different. Like
Yeah.
that's the like it's impact wise. The only reason why I would say J. Cole had the bigger year is I think that J. Cole was able to him rolling out his old mixtapes, I think was a big. I've
Hmm.
never seen any artist roll out their past projects and then get the reception that Cole's has, where it has everybody talking about those projects over again. Um,
Yeah.
that's the only reason why I say that. But GNX, no, it's going stupid out here. TV off
Phew.
out here,
Gotta
hearing
go crazy.
I still don't like Peekaboo. Um,
I love
so
Peekaboo,
that
bro.
did not change from being on the West Coast.
Wow,
But
it didn't change. That's
no,
crazy.
no.
Yeah.
But TV off out here, Squabble Up out here. Um, even Luther, they play Luther. Luther out here is
Yeah, man.
different. Different. No, no.
Mhm.
He and I like the conversation that's going on about regional rap, man. I think rap needs to get back to being regional as well. I stand on the side of that.
I kind of do too because like there's certain things that are just authentic to the culture that you can't really replicate being
Hmm.
from another area and having not had that experience, bro. Like that's just the truth of the matter. I would what sense would it make for an Atlanta artist to try to capture the Bay Area sound? I'm not saying they can't be featured on a song, but for that to be their musical identity, bro, it's kind of like too far fetched, bro. It's
And
just
that
kind of disingenuous.
and I feel like that's how New York fell off. Like when you look at like New York abandoned their sound in the mainstream.
Mm.
You know, the sound that
Hmm.
New York was known for, the gritty, rugged, Mob Deep-esque, Wu-Tang type,
Hmm.
that gritty style that New York ended up becoming known for and synonymous with, that their new era ended up adopting more of the Chicago, the drill stuff. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's
bro.
putting a little spin on drill music and doing that, but it's like I don't like. It's not. That's not sustainable. You know. I think that
Mm-mm.
they should have honed in or did a revamped version of what their sound already was, and leaned into artists like a Dave East or like a Joey
Hmm.
Badass, and really rally behind those type of artists because yeah, it is like I that don't sound like New York to me.
Yeah, nah, that sounds crazy. Like, but because their version to me, like, is like a muddied version of like drill music,
Yeah.
Chicago drill music, kind of. It's like, but it's just again, you trying to replicate a sound that isn't native to your city, your region, and everything. So it's kind of like it feels like like hand me down version of it to me. Like, don't get me wrong, like there's still artists of that sound, bro, that I rock with, dog. Like I rock with a Sleepy Hollow, like on occasion if I'm in that type of mood. But it just doesn't really, it don't
Yeah.
really hit the same.
And
And a lot of artists from Chicago don't even like do that sound anymore, bro. Like
no.
that sound kind of I won't say it's died, but the only artist that we can say really still captures it in full. What Polo G, what G Herbo maybe?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, a lot.
You know
I
what
mean,
I'm saying?
there's other artists who are popping there locally, but as far as ones
Mm,
that are
national.
mainstream, national,
Yeah.
like household names, yeah, those are the only ones who really made it out of that era. And Dirt,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Those are the
And
only
Dirt,
ones
yeah.
who made it
Hmm.
out of that era who um were able to sustain that sound. But yeah, no, it's not. I like Pop Smoke. Like he has some songs I like. So like there were some
For
artists
sure.
who had some songs during that era that I like. But I think that when you have hip hop that is regional, one of the things I loved about hip hop so much is when before growing up, before I had gone to any of these other cities, I was able to feel like I knew some things about some of these cities based on the hip hop that was coming out of that city. And I think that
Hmm.
that was fire. Like I to
Yeah.
this day, I've never been to St. Louis, but because I grew up listening to Nelly and the Lunatics and Murphy Lee and all of that, I
Yeah.
feel like I get it a little bit. I get the
Yeah.
slang, I get, you know what I mean, the culture, even though
Hmm.
I've never been there. Same thing with Detroit. Like hearing artists from Detroit, it's like, oh no, okay, I kind of get the vibe that's out there, even though I
Hmm.
haven't been, you know,
Yeah.
and Oakland, all of that, same thing. Like I think that when you have all these different cities that sound um
Mhm.
that have their own unique spin on hip hop, I think it's fire.
I think it's fire, bro. Yeah. So we need more of that. I would agree. I would
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Yes,
Um.
sir. But speaking of some regional rap,
Mhm.
one artist who we want to discuss a little bit today is synonymous with Atlanta. Now, I do want to include, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he was born in Illinois. And I'm not saying that we should try to claim him in Chicago, but I'm just saying. I just want to put
Uh-huh.
that. I just want to throw that in there. But known for being from Atlanta, known for Atlanta hip hop and Atlanta culture, is Ludacris.
Hmm.
When we were talking about what throwback album we wanted to review, I thought about it and I said we haven't done anybody from the South in a while. And the first person that popped in my mind that we haven't reviewed yet is Ludacris. And generally speaking, what are just some of your thoughts about Ludacris as an artist?
So I think Ludacris is like I kind of put him in the same category, although they're different. I kind of put him in the same category as like a Busta Rhymes in the fact that they're both lyrically like sharp, bro. Like they can rap. You know what I'm saying? Animated from the music video to the performances a little bit. What they have like kind of comedic spins on it. I think maybe Ludacris lean into that a lot more though. Like even if you look at the album covers, like Chicken and Beer, what's that album, bro? Like or whatever.
Yes,
You
Chicken and
look at,
Beer.
you know what I mean, and you had the big afro, the pork chop sideburns and everything, bro. And but he's rapping his
Yeah,
he's getting his stuff off. So it's just like as animated as he is, bro. He's as sharp a MC as anybody that's ever come out of Atlanta, for real, for real. And I think him being like starting out as a radio personality, he knows what entertains people. You know what I mean? He knows what really captures their ear. And so I think he's looked at like as someone who has a lot of like hit records because he does. But at the same time, bro, I don't think he gets enough love as a rapper because of how he's expanded as an entertainer,
yes.
acting. What else he does? Like all that other stuff, bro. Like I think that's the reason. It's kind of like the Ti effect, where it's like people forget how dope a rapper these people are because they've done
Mhm.
other things. You know what I mean? And that's kind of unfair. So I think like his legacy is kind of like I don't think he gets the respect he deserves, for real.
Bro, I could not agree more. And Ludacris was one of the earlier rappers that I ever listened to growing up because I had my cousin Niecy and Tonsi were always listening to Ludacris. And I remember taking their CDs at a very young age and listening to these albums and being like, yo, this is different and extremely animated,
Mm-hmm.
very entertaining to listen to. And one thing about Ludacris is, which is what I give him a lot of credit for as a rapper, and I know that it stems from his time working as a radio personality in Atlanta, his diction and how clear he sounds on records and how well he projects on songs is like very pronounced and like stands out amongst his peers. Like he
Mm-hmm.
sounds better than most rappers, like just
Mm-hmm.
vocally. Um, and I think that it comes across well on his songs. Definitely leans into the humor and that component of hip hop more. And I think a lot of times people don't the rappers that kind of lean more into humor and animated and not necessarily a bunch of serious records. I
Mm-hmm.
think quote unquote serious records. I think they don't often get the same credit for their lyricism or placed amongst the greats like how other artists do. It's almost like an example of that would be like Missy Elliott.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, you rarely hear anybody mention Missy Elliott on their top 10 artist list or top 10 rappers or whatever. And I don't think it's because they don't think Missy Elliott is talented, but I think it's because anybody with a brain knows Missy Elliott is talented.
Facts. Facts.
But I think that it's because she leaned into the humor and made more fun records and that type of thing. I think that people are like, no, you're not. They only put people on their top list who are very serious all the time as far as their music
Mhm.
messaging, which is it's kind of crazy when you think about it, seeing that the first hip hop records weren't serious.
They were goofy, bro. Like borderline,
Yeah.
like goofy. Like you know what
Yes. Goofy
I mean?
Party Fun Records was
Exactly.
were the first hip hop records. So it's interesting that now points are docked for artists who are and me included. Sometimes I don't include some of those artists in my top 10 list because of that, unless they have balance. And I think Ludacris has balance. When you listen to his album Release Therapy, there's some serious songs on there.
For
And
sure.
Release Therapy went platinum. It went number one. So
Yeah, people act like it's a failure when he like, you know what I mean, dove into the more serious or more conscious driven like songs or music, bro. Like, nah.
no,
Like,
Runaway Love was a hit.
mm-hmm.
He had some serious messaging on there about everything from addiction to sexual assault. You know what I mean? Like he
Mm-hmm.
tackled a lot of serious issues and being a father on Release Therapy. And I think that it was a fire album, but I think that a lot of times people don't herald Ludacris in that same way. And maybe it is because of the acting career.
Yeah, I think so, bro. And like again, I think certain things overshadow some of his other work because it was so impactful. Like even
Mhm.
Missy Elliott has conscious driven music or more
Af-
serious music, bro. Like if you actually listen to her albums that are riddled with those like mainstream club records, she just sprinkles it in. She doesn't get enough credit for that at all, bro. Even when I see like other women rappers, bro. Like they rarely bring up Missy, and that's just so crazy to me. Like the only person I know who's bring up Missy like faithfully when she's talking about her inspirations is like a Tierra Whack, which makes
Yeah,
sense,
which
right?
makes
Like,
sense
but
because
but nobody else for real like that I've heard at least.
yeah, no, me either. I never heard them
Mhm.
put her in their top list, and I think like I said, I think it's because. But you know what? It's weird though because Nicki Minaj's songs haven't been that serious. Her mainstream pop songs, but they put
Yeah.
Nicki in that category, and I think maybe it's just because maybe they respect Nicki Minaj more as a lyricist because she's had like verses like on Monster
Oh
and like
yeah, that verse was
and
nuts,
verses
bro.
like that where she's going completely bizarre. Even on like Seeing Green, like she had
Hmm.
these standout verses where she's like rapping. So maybe that lets them teeter her a little bit more into the like traditional hip hop rapper category.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think Ludacris doesn't get the credit he deserves either, man. And with that being said, man, we wanted to tackle one of his groundbreaking albums. We wanted to go into an album that really took his career to the next level. Some people don't know, man, Ludacris's first album before this one was actually um initially put out as an independent album, which is fire.
I didn't know that.
He started his label immediately as an artist, wrote out his first album, and after What's Your Fantasy blew up, the
Hmm.
label re-released the project and signed him because it was so
Wow.
fire. Because that song took off on its own with him being independent. And they were
Hmm.
like, we need a piece of this. So they which is I think dope. And I think his follow-up album was Word of Mouth, which
Mm.
was amazing project. Groundbreaking project. This was an early project that I first heard as a kid. And I will say that I hear it very differently now as an adult. Going back to some of these songs. And we can get into that a little bit later. But
Hmm.
as a kid listening to this, which I shouldn't have been listening to this, but I was,
Yeah.
I was like, yo, this is crazy. Like definitely thought it stood out amongst other albums for me as a kid listening to it. Um what are before I get into some of the songs, man, what were your overall thoughts on Word of Mouth?
Yeah, so I listened to the first half. I'll admit, audience, our fans, our listeners. I didn't listen to the second half of this, but
Yeah.
from what the songs that I was more familiar with, like Roll Out, like everybody's heard
Yeah,
Roll Out. You've either heard the song alone or you've heard it on
a movie.
like a movie or something like that. You know
Facts.
what I mean? Like it's the Ludacris that I know, where it's like, yo, he's again rapping on the highest level you can, but still making it lighthearted and fun. it makes me wonder, like, if he were to be like a gangster rap artist, which I hate that term too, but if he wrote
Same.
about like violence and everything else, like how would he be perceived, bro? Like how would this album shape up, but how would he himself be perceived? Makes you wonder a little bit. But
If he
yeah,
leaned into the like I'm gangsta like that,
yeah, like how do you think he would? Like, would he be looked at differently or higher than he is now?
maybe. You know, people don't realize
Mm.
Ludacris went to college. He dropped out, I believe, to spark his career, but Ludacris went to college. Like,
Yeah, where'd he go? Not Morehouse, right?
no, I want to say it was Georgia. It was somewhere at Georgia. I don't. I want to say it
Mm.
might have been HBCU, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's definitely a
Hmm.
school out in Georgia. Because
Yeah.
they ended up giving him an honor. I know that whatever school it was ended up giving him an honorary bachelor's.
Okay.
The school that he didn't finish from. You know.
That's fire. Okay.
Yeah, but that with that being said, I think that he never really leaned into it. He have a gun bar here, gun bar there, but it wasn't like
Mm.
he did never really leaned into that. And then you know what? Unfortunately, I would say I think he might have been heralded more if he leaned into that.
Which is like in it, like it makes you think about us as hip hop fans a little bit,
Facts.
because this is like this album, as far as the songs that I'm familiar with that I listen to too, bro. Like this is like that type of stuff we was listening to back in the early 2000s, and it was because of Ludacris. Like I'm not gonna say he innovated or was like sparked this sound. I'm just saying like it was uniquely Ludacris to me. And so like for that reason, bro, you got to give him his flowers, bro. Like
Yeah,
he was like kind of advanced when it comes to lyrically and just as an artist. And again, he brung fun into hip hop, bro. There's like that's a skill and a talent that can't be denied. You know what I mean?
absolutely, bro. He made fun music. This was a time where hip hop was just straight entertainment. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he might put some serious stuff in there here and there, but when you listen to this project, and some of the songs on here are way more on the serious side, so he put those in there as well. But
Hmm.
very animated, but some bars in here too. You know what I mean? Like
Bars.
he's rapping, and I think that Word of Mouth is one of those albums that stands out in that way where it's layered. It's
Hmm.
definitely layered. I will say some of my favorite songs, Roll Out, of course, fire.
Hmm.
Um, I always like to go to sleep. Another one.
Hmm.
Um, Area Codes, you come classic, even though
Classic, bro.
even though listening to it now, it's a little cringeworthy. You know what I mean? It's a wild song,
Wild.
but shout out Nate Dogg. You really can't go wrong with Nate Dogg on the hook to me. You know
I'm
what I mean?
telling you,
You
King of
really
Hooks, bro.
king of hooks, man. R.I.P. Nate Dogg.
Mm.
Um, Another song on here, man, but on the more of the serious side, when you look at Growing Pains,
Mm.
fire song. You know what I mean? Like one where it's a pivot on something on the album where it's like, okay, let remind y'all that I do this hip hop thing for real. Like I could do introspective music too. And I think he gives you that on here. Saturday classic, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Yeah, man. Move. We ain't
I
gotta
was
say
about to
nothing about that.
say, you
Like,
cannot bring that one up.
come on, bro. Like classic. I still play that in traffic.
Hmm.
I still play that in traffic,
Yo, that's
because that's how
hilarious.
I feel. That's exactly how I feel when I'm in traffic.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, bro. Like, there's a few songs on here that I skip. I'll be honest about. Like,
Mm.
there's some skippable ones on here. There are some on here that today, as a kid, they sounded fire. Now they sound kind of goofy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Some of the jokes then aren't as funny now. So now you, as an
Hmm.
adult, listening back to some of the songs, you're like,
Hmm.
yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of heat on here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh, even if you remove those 3 or 4 songs that I don't necessarily care for,
Hmm.
it's you still got so much that is classic on here. And I think that,
Classic.
and that's my thing with Ludacris, man. Um, I think that his because he's known for being in the Fast and Furious now, and he's leaned more into the acting. I think that people don't necessarily give him his credit as a rapper. Man, I've seen Ludacris live. Ludacris is phenomenal live as well.
Is he? Yeah.
Yes,
I have
man.
no
Like,
doubt about that. Yeah.
yes, dope live. Like, I believe it or not, I actually saw him live. This was in Indiana. Right outside of South Bend, Indiana. Actually, it was him. It was a him and Bone Thugs-n-Harmony.
Oh wow.
Random combination,
That
but
is a random combo, bro.
it was Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. Ludacris. I want to say it might have been Do or Die. It was one of the Chicago Crucial Conflict. It was one of them two who was on there too.
Okay.
But fire. Like, and seeing Ludacris live, I was like, no, Ludacris has so many hits, like so many classic records. And if you're talking about in classic projects, when you talk about Word of Mouth, when you talk about Chicken and Beer, when you talk about Release Therapy,
Mm-hmm.
like these are well recognized and renowned projects. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't why he's not spoken about in the same light as other artists. Like I said, I think it's a double edged. I think it's partially because of the acting and going more into that route, just like how Ice Cube is known, you know, from the whole generation who doesn't know Ice Cube was one of the coldest rappers out.
Crazy.
Um, you know, I think it might be the same thing with Ludacris. Same, and then also like I said, I think that because he wasn't coming with this super serious gangster
Mm-hmm.
whatever, you know what I mean, persona. And he was just being himself. I think that at the same time, I think some people don't credit him because of that too, which is
Yes.
unfortunate.
It is unfortunate because, bro, Fred, I would say like because the notion that I always think about when it comes to rappers, because their lifespans musically are very short. Like their prime is very short a lot of times. So you have to like applaud artists that have like continued to not only just like be a hip hop figure, but still make quality music 10 plus years after their debut. Like, because between 99 to really like, I would say Battle of the Sexes for Ludacris, which came out, I think, in 2009 or 2010, bro, he was one of my favorite rappers during that period. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? So he, within hip hop, he had at least 10 summers to put on, and he
Facts.
did, bro. So, like, yo, he needs his flowers. I want to ask you though, like, how does word of mouth for you? Because when I think of like Southern hip hop classic albums at that time, the first that comes to mind, I'm just talking about between 2000 and really 2010. I'm sure others will come to mind as we really think about it, but T.I.'s King or Paper Trails, like I think of those albums. Where does like do you think any Ludacris album really should be in consideration? Is it Word of Mouth, Chicken and Beer? Like which one is it for you?
For me, I probably will go chicken and beer.
I would too. I would
I
too.
will go chicken and beer for being the one that is like in that Atlanta classic
hmm
Southern category. Like when I think of Ludacris's catalog, I have to think of chicken and beer. Um,
hmm
yeah, I would say chicken. I'm going to the track listing now because that's stand up, blow it out, screwed up, pea
Stupid,
popping.
bro. Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Word of mouth is up there though.
It's up there. I think Red Light District is still
But you know what?
solid. Yeah.
Red Light District too. But even when you go to his first album is the one with Throw Them Bowls and all that, Southern Hospitality.
Oh, true.
You see what I'm saying? So like, and so when you think when you're looking at his discography, his first album was called I can't think of the name, it's slipping me. Oh yeah, Back for the First Time.
hmm
That was the one with Southern Hospitality and all that on it. So
Oh, okay.
even that one, like, it's still
Mhm.
hard. So like, I don't know. Like I Chicken and Beer just was when he was at his peak to me.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That was a movement, and I think he opened a restaurant like called Chicken and Beer after that, bro.
I want to say
Yeah.
it's if it's not still, it was in Atlanta's airport.
So
Yeah.
that was a movement for sure.
Yeah, that one is his classic one. I think that one's his classic one. When I think of T.I. Putting on for the South, I think of Urban Legend and
I do too.
I think of Urban Legend, I think of King.
And King was like, yeah, I'm the
King
best rapper in the world right now.
King
That's
was
what that album represented.
crazy. Because
Yeah,
King's production was crazy too. When I
stupid.
first heard What You Know About That, I was in like, what is this? Like, it
Mhm.
just sounds
Yeah,
so big and
it
grand.
did like grandiose. It did.
Yeah, I was like, this is insane. Yeah,
Mhm.
so those are the ones that stand out for Ti. When you're talking about Outkast, you got to talk about Stankonia. You got to talk
Stankonia,
about um
amazing.
AT Aliens. You talk about those, and then when you're talking about, I'm trying to think of who else you really got to put from that earlier era of Southern.
hmm
You would throw Goody Mob in there. Who else?
I'm trying to think, bro. It's so much.
There's so many because then you got UGK,
That's what I'm
you
saying.
got 8 Ball MJG, you got a lot of artists out of the South who are
Yeah.
huge there. Even Boosie, like people don't realize, people who've never spent time in the South, they don't realize how big Boosie is.
Boozy is huge, bro.
Y'all wonder why Boosie get online and can talk as crazy as he want to be and not be worried. Boosie can just tour the South and never go anywhere else for the rest of his career.
Good. Like in Louisiana, they probably Harold King, like folks in LA Harold. Tupac, bro. I don't know. That might sound
That's how,
wild,
no,
but like
that's
I've
how they
heard that
that's
though.
how they look at Boosie.
Yeah, like legit. And I've
When I
seen him perform. I saw him perform last year. I get it. Like
when
he
I
got certain anthems that we, even for us, like growing up in the Midwest, we can connect with, but they
absolutely.
connect with it so much deeper because he toured like, you know what I'm saying, like those
I mean,
radio stations to build these records up. You know what I'm saying?
and Boosie is also unique because he was going and performing in the parts of America where other people don't go, and that's what people
Exactly.
don't realize. He was performing in the Delta in Mississippi. You know what I mean? He going
Hmm.
and performing in Alabama. He going and performing in some of these smaller cities in some of these
Hmm.
areas. He going to Montgomery. He going and performing in these places that other
Exactly.
people aren't performing that
The
often. So
Gump. That's what they call it.
the
The Gump.
Gump. You know what I mean? He
Crazy.
performing. He gonna perform. He gonna do the show in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
That's
So
a city?
Clarksdale, that's where my people from.
I did not know that, brother.
Yes,
I only
sir.
know Jackson. Yeah.
Yeah, and I ain't never been to Jackson. I've been to Mississippi a few times in my
You're not
days.
missing nothing, brother. I hope
I've only, I've
our
only,
listeners don't get
I
offended by that.
don't get it. Hey, my people from Mississippi, and this look. Let me tell you, Dirt Road, Mississippi.
Mm,
They ain't from Jackson. Jackson is a city.
that's the city. Like,
That's
that's
the
the crazy
city.
thing. Yeah.
No, they from yeah, nah, middle of nowhere, Mississippi.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the places that Boosie would go and perform at clubs and stuff. So
Hmm.
you know, he's built an organic fan base in some of those places. So you can't really even talk about Southern hip hop and not talk about Boosie. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Boosie and
Facts.
Webby have had a whole different impact.
INDEPE. You know what I mean?
I heard that the other day out, and I was like, yo, I forgot about this song.
Yeah. Like you forget how many hits he actually has
Set it
that
off,
span
man.
region. Yeah. Yeah. Set it off. Classic.
Man,
Classic,
if
bro.
you ain't heard Set It Off in the South, man, you missed out. But then we haven't even gotten into Texas. You know what I mean? We ain't even getting to Houston. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And because that whole Mike Jones, Paul Wall, Slim Thug era was crazy.
Yeah. What was their like their camp called, bro?
Shoot, I can't remember the name of the camp,
I forgot
but
now.
but I remember when Steel Tipping came out.
Oh yeah, massive, bro. Massive. Everybody want to grill. Me as a kid, I was putting tinfoil on my mouth, bro, because I wanted to emulate them. For real, bro. I had the tinfoil joints, bro, thinking I was him. No, sir.
You know the crazy thing that they had me wanting as a kid,
What?
they had me thinking about wanting spinners but y'all had me thinking about wanting rims more than the car.
Facts.
When I saw those videos and just saw the wheel just spinning on the car, I was
Uh-huh.
like, yo, that's crazy.
Crazy. I knew kids that had spinners on their shoes, bro. Like them goofy shoes, bro. I forgot which rapper dropped them joints, but they had a rim that you could
Nah.
spin on there, bro. Swear, bro.
Let me tell y'all, it was a
Swear.
nasty era. I don't know if you remember this, Earl. You might have missed this era. There was an era where we were wearing, I'm not gonna say we because I'm not claiming that I ever had anything like this. My peers had belt buckles that lit up and had words going across it.
Yeah, that's disgusting. I remember that era,
You
bro.
remember
That
that
was the
era?
Jabot era.
That was the
Like, yeah,
Jabot era with the belt
yeah,
buckle, how your name going across it. Nasty.
yeah.
Yo, let me tell you,
Disgusting.
I am so glad there aren't a lot of pictures of me from that era because I'm gonna tell you, man, y'all, my
Man,
students would look at me very differently if they saw me from that era, boy. They would be like, I think they'd have more respect for me and how far I've came in life.
maybe. Not the doctorate, not the other accomplishments, but the glow up. Yeah, because
To go,
bro, people had wristbands like NBA wristbands and like
yes,
headbands,
I,
like with a do rag under it, like crazy era, bro.
bro, I have rubber bands on the bottom of my pants.
Oh,
Why?
yeah, to get the
Well,
scrunch jogger look, we had rubber bands on our pants, bro. Instead, crazy.
bro, I was wearing at that time, but this is middle school. Middle school, bro. I was wearing a 2XL white tall tee.
White tall tee, like
Not a
a
regular
Stephen.
tee,
Yeah,
specific, the tall joint that go down to your knees, man.
insane,
A
bro.
crazy, and I was 100, probably 130 pounds soaking wet at the time.
Yo, this is why I understand why rappers and certain record meetings were like, people probably were looking at him like, this is our superstar. Like, this is crazy. Like, can you put on a suit? It's like, nah, bro. This is the culture, bro.
Nah,
You know
nah,
what I'm saying?
you getting us how we are.
Authentically. You know what I'm saying?
We in here, bro. Like, nah, that was a
Mhm.
cool. The white tee era was crazy, but it was a good time.
It was a good time. That was like where social media was bubbling up, but it wasn't everything. So if you did some wild
Yeah.
stuff, like you just did it. You got
You
it by
just
word of
did
mouth
it,
still.
bro. You
Yeah.
and the crazy thing is, like, that's when like phones just started getting cameras on it. So the cameras were such terrible quality.
Oh my God.
Nobody kept any of the footage from there. And bro, and even social media, it was before social media was on phones. So
Yeah.
like, you would go home and maybe if you're on your computer at home or something, you would be on MySpace and all of that. But like it wasn't on, you weren't on it regularly. You weren't on it all day
Yeah.
long on your phone. So like
Hmm.
it was just a dope era, bro. And this was
No, for real.
before social media had likes. People don't remember MySpace.
Wow.
There was no likes on MySpace. You never did MySpace, did you?
I did MySpace, but by the time I started, bro, it was too late at that
Everybody
point.
was everybody, it was already dying.
Everybody went to Facebook and then Instagram later on by that time.
I
Yeah.
snuck and got a MySpace page. My mom listened to this podcast, so she ended up finding out about the fact that I snuck and got a MySpace page. She let me keep it, but she made me add her as a friend. So,
That's funny. That's funny. Oh, I
but
thought you meant as like she authorized it. Like, because
oh
I don't know if
no,
they had that back then
they
though.
didn't. No, you couldn't. They didn't
Parent
have that.
authorization. Yeah.
Mm-mm, they didn't even have that back then. So she just
Mm.
you technically I think was supposed to be 18, but it asks you your birthday. You gonna put whatever birthday you feel like putting.
Gonna
Like,
lie.
yeah,
96, 95, like whatever, whatever time frame you needed,
whatever
bro.
time frame I need to put to let you for you to let me make this page, that's what I'm gonna put on here. But yeah, MySpace was fine. That to me, to this day, I stand on this. The best social media platform.
That's yeah. I don't know if I nah, bro.
You missed them.
That's crazy.
That's because you missed the boom.
Is it because of the memories had, bro? Because
It's
it
not.
was so limited. It
It
was
was
mad limited.
no, but it was it wasn't really limited though, bro.
It
Like
wasn't.
think about it. You have to actually cultivate a real page. So people don't realize
Yeah,
you
that's
created your
true.
background. You had a playlist that you put on your page to
Hmm.
let people know what music you were into. You like you had your top friends list, which was a
Hmm.
thing back then. Like if you wasn't in somebody's top friends, it was like, yo, this is like,
You a
what's up?
square, son.
What's up? Like I'm not in your top
Yeah.
five friends. Like so you had your top friends list. There was that
Hmm.
component. So you would build it out. You had to build out a whole
Hmm.
website dang near for yourself
Yeah,
using
it's basically a
HTML. The
Tumblr
whole
before
basically,
Tumblr.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were doing like basic HTML minor coding to build your page out,
Hmm.
and it was dope because you weren't. Now social media is clout driven. It's about how many likes, and people are thinking about how many likes they get in the comments. There was no likes on MySpace. So it
Mm.
was when you were posting, you were just posting. This is what I like, so I'm posting it. You know what I mean? There was no
Hmm.
nothing else attached to it, where it was like
Yeah.
some metric where I didn't feel like my post was successful because it was just
Yeah.
it was a lit time. Man, I also was a kid, so that also added probably on to how lit it was. But
Yeah.
I
Because
think
for me,
it was the
like,
coolest site.
uh, yeah, I guess. Now, my goal is always gonna be Instagram because it has every element you need. Like they even down to like the thoughts. I forgot what they call it, but when you like go to like you go to post on your story or something, you'll see other people writing in like their thoughts for the day,
Oh
like
yeah,
and whatever them joints.
little note section.
The notes joint. So they
But
have
who really
everything
go
you
through
need.
and read those things though?
Nobody. But like
That's
it's
what I'm
just
saying. See,
it's the fact you can do it though.
Instagram got the most features, but it got the most features that nobody care about.
Yeah, really? Like,
Like
nah, yeah.
how many people on threads? I don't know. Maybe it's popping, but
Zero
I don't
people.
know.
Zero people. I know people that post there like religiously, bro, but like it's just a dead zone for real.
I
And
got
there's too many social media things. I think MySpace was unique because it was like really a standout. Like there was another
hmm
website that was MySpace S, but didn't catch the same fire though. I
yeah.
forgot what it's called. I want to say it's called Tagged or something or
Oh,
something.
that no, that was the first one. I never got to get one.
Yeah.
That was the one that was right before MySpace.
And I even had a tag, bro. Like this is
Oh, so
like
I never had that
uh,
one.
the Soldier Boy era where him and
hmm
Arab were like rapping together on SODMG or whatever. Like
Yep.
that's when I got MySpace. I was late to the game, I feel like, but yeah, my goal is always Instagram, bro. It got everything you need
Instagram has had the most longevity. So I
for
guess
sure.
on that front, because it's the one that survived the longest, I guess I'll give it that gold status. But
Yeah,
I,
Facebook is cool, but it's like old. It's like aunties, unks.
they took it over. They
They
stole
took
it.
it over. Yeah,
Our
mostly
mom,
their granddaughters and whatnot. Nobody want to see that.
our parents' generation stole MySpace. I mean, they stole Facebook. My bad. They stole Facebook.
Facebook, yeah. Who was the friend on MySpace, bro? Craig or something? Was who was
No,
the
MySpace
automatic
was
friend?
Tom.
Tom. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you
don't
had
use
to add,
time as a
you had to add time. It wasn't even an option. You couldn't take them out your list.
friend. So you're forcing friends on me?
Yes,
Instagram.
I'm your
Instagram,
friend
bro.
no matter what, bro. But Instagram is just it's just not as lit. I don't know. Maybe it's just because you don't get to really build out your profile for real.
You get to build it out, but it's under the same template structure. Like
Yeah, like
everybody's feed looks pretty much the
looks,
same.
and you know how I know Instagram ain't lit like that, bro. Most people got 3, 4 pictures up on their page. Like it's just it's to me. Instagram is a hyped up LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Like it's just I want to look lit.
Uh,
I'm cultivating this page to look lit. That's it. It's not
yeah.
like there's no like I guess fun is comes from the videos and stuff that are on there, but
Hmm.
I
The
don't know.
capabilities on there is fire though. It's really limitless, bro. Like for
It
real.
is, it is, and I
And
think
YouTube is not considered a social media
oh
site technically,
it
is
is
it?
it is technically.
Then that's my goal.
If we consider if we putting YouTube in the
That's my
mix,
goal,
it's
actually,
YouTube. It's YouTube for sure.
for sure. Like
Yeah,
you as a user can do whatever you want within the confines of the thing. Well, obviously, like you know, what I mean,
yeah,
you get flagged or whatever, but or get stuff taken down, but you can do it whatever. You can build a fortune from it, bro. Too at
yeah,
that
yeah.
event.
And now I will say I think that TikTok, even though I don't use it that much, I have a
Mhm.
page, but I rarely use it. I think that TikTok has the best algorithm.
Oh, hands down, bro. You can see some with 12 likes that really connect with, and then you'll scroll down and see some with 3 million. I'm exaggerating, but like,
Yeah,
and it just fits whatever interest you have, bro. It's not a popularity contest for real. Like it's
yeah,
whatever like you are actually drawn to. Best
absolutely.
algorithm. Now, does the US government feel that way? We'll find out in January,
We
brother. I'm just
you
yeah.
ain't lying. At this
Yeah.
time, at this point, it's a money game. So we'll see what
Hmm.
happens with TikTok.
We will see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Before we go though, like you mentioned like performances. That was a big thing you talked about. You saw Dochi's Tiny Desk,
Yes,
fire. Um,
fire. I'm a
who
tiny
else did I
desk.
see recently? I saw Tierra Wax, fire.
Yeah, earlier this year I saw Scarfaces, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Tiny Desk. Let me tell y'all, NPR, if y'all like ever hiring, don't let nobody know, but just y'all hit me up, man. I love what y'all
Yeah.
doing at Tiny Desk. Like it's so dope. Like
Mhm.
I think that it's y'all have really cultivated a unique platform that gives artists a chance to be spotlighted in a very unique and different way,
Mhm.
in a way that's really art driven and talent driven, which I think is dope
For
because we're in
sure.
an era now where talent isn't on the top of the list. People care more about what artist is dating and what they're wearing and who they, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? People care more about that stuff than the actual art these days. And I think that
Mhm.
a platform like Tiny Desk is dope because like if you're not talented, you can't really hide that on Tiny Desk. Like I can see that you're not good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I
Exactly.
think that it's dope. But one thing that we wanted to mention when it came to talking about Tiny Desk is when we saw that Doechii was on there, it you brought up this point, and I thought the same thing about she seems like she's so young in her career to have a Tiny Desk.
Yeah,
And
bro.
that sparked the conversation of what is the criteria for a tiny desk, because I agree. I thought that tiny desk was more of a how we're going to pay homage to some artist who has put in x amount of years in the
Mhm.
game, and have been known for their live performances over the decade, and I mean, give them that life. Because like La Russell was on there recently too, but La
Yeah.
Russell's, even though he's only been out a few years, La Russell got like 30 albums.
That's what I'm
So
saying. He got all records, like
and he
mad records.
and has literally been hosting a live show out of a backyard for the last few years. Has been
He
selling
low
out.
key does his own to an extent,
Tiny
like his
desk.
own tiny desk, bro.
Yes,
Basically.
yes.
Yeah.
That's extremely successful. So for that, to me, that made sense. But like when you see these newer artists on there, what do you think the criteria should be for
I
Tiny
think
Desk?
the criteria should be like I'm gonna keep it a being. Like the criteria is whatever they make it. I just was accustomed to like more seasoned, more established artists going on there to kind of like let people know, hey, I either got something that's about to come out that's gonna like change the game, or like, yo, people didn't forgot about what I've done. I'm here to remind them. Like that's always what I thought of. I always thought that was kind of the criteria. Cause one of my favorite Tiny Desk performances is Usher's, bro. Cause I'm like,
Mm.
People
Crazy.
done forgot now. Like,
People
bro is a
forgot.
vocalist, dog. You feel
Facts.
me? So, yeah, I always thought it was that. So seeing Doechii, who really has one major project under her belt, I was kind of like surprised. And I've been seeing other younger, newer acts on there as well. And I feel like I would want to see more of the legends more so, like
I,
remind us. Like, does Maxwell have a tiny desk? I feel like he does. He's somebody I would
I
want to
don't.
see
I haven't
like on a
seen.
tiny
If he
desk.
does, I haven't seen it yet. Man,
Yeah.
you know one who got one of the best tiny desks? Shaka
Who?
Khan, yo.
Oh, yes, bro. Yes. Yes.
Amazing, bro. If y'all have not
Hmm.
heard Shaka Khan's Tiny Desk, man,
Hmm.
amazing. There's been a lot of dope ones. Anderson Paak got a fight with Kirk
Yeah.
Franklin's is crazy.
Oh, yeah. His is crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, but I agree. I would like to see it more so lean that way than to let newer artists do it. I agree.
Yeah.
I
Who
think
I
that
wouldn't want to see though is, and it's not because he isn't a legend, because he is, but Smokey Robinson been on some freaky stuff. Like his whole last album, bro.
really.
Did you see it, bro?
Mm-mm.
Bro, you're stop. Like, I'm not just saying, like, certain people's libido, I get, hey, it is what it is,
You,
right? But you
is that
freaky, bro. Like in your
like
80s.
it's on some Jodeci? Like what you mean?
Worse. Worse,
It's on
bro.
Trey Songz?
Worse. It's worse, bro.
No, no
I'm
way.
telling you, I had to think
Not
about
not
that. Like,
not Smokey.
smoke, bro. They got smoky, man. Hold
Okay.
on. But yeah, but I hear what you're saying though. Definitely. I wish it would go that route too, bro. Or stay
Yeah.
that route. But
Stay
like,
yeah, cause they right now it seems like they're doing a mixture of both. But I there's definitely a lot of talented singers and rappers from the past who I would love to see on there. So
mm-hmm.
I'm definitely cool with them gearing it more so towards that route. Um yeah, man. Shout out to Tiny Desk though, man. Y'all provide some entertaining content.
Just one thing. So Smokey Robinson's last album was called Gasms, like orgasms. Yeah. Smokey on some different, on different type of time, brother, man. So
That's the name of his album?
yeah, yeah. Gasms, bro. Yo, shout out Smokey
Shout
Robinson,
out
man.
Smokey, man. Shout out Big
Shout out
Smoke
all the
Dog, man.
Detroit and Motown, bro. Like, while we at
Facts,
it.
man. Living legends, bro. Hey, look, look, let me tell you,
Hmm?
I don't think people know, but Motown, like the fact that these artists from Motown are still living,
Yes,
these
bro.
are
Still performing.
these are like walking monuments. Do people realize like these are some of the most talented people to walk the face of the earth? Like I don't think
Yes,
people
bro.
really comprehend like how talented some I don't even think people really even think about the fact that Stevie Wonder is still breathing.
Going crazy.
Y'all realize how many hits Stevie Wonder has, and like don't even think that people understand how talented of an individual that is. Like, arguably, probably one of the most talented people to ever live. You know what I mean?
Easily. Easily. And Barry Gordy was just spotted for his birthday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yo. I think he's in his 90s or mid
Yeah,
80s.
gotta be.
And he's
Yeah,
still like spry, active, and everything. And he was the
nice.
visionary behind it all. So, yo,
Yep.
kudos to all of Motown, all Detroit, and the Midwest region, bro. We
The
don't get
mid,
enough love.
we don't get
So
enough love for the Midwest, man. Y'all
facts.
like we put on, man. Michael Jackson from Gary, Indiana. Y'all
Come
need to remember
on.
that.
Let's
You
talk about
know,
it. So yeah.
yes, sir. And man, look, I do want to do these hidden hits real quick, and
Yeah,
then
let's do it.
real quick. I I kind of want to. I'll pick one song from this project, but like on my flight, man, I really got to listen in full to Freddie Gibbs' album, and yo, it is amazing. I don't know if you've heard this new Freddie Gibbs album, bro. Please, and I want to hear your feedback on the skits because I know you're somebody who don't like skits.
I
I
hate
do.
skits.
I like skits. I like skits when they're done well. But on
Mm,
this album, I'm interested to see what you think about these skits because I think they're perfect. But
mm,
it's like the theme of the skits is like the skits is the devil talking to him and like
mm,
trying to convince him to like keep going a certain route. And it's done. I could tell by the voice. I think it's Sling Johnson, the comedian. For all y'all
mm.
don't know, Sling Johnson is a comedian who was on I don't know if you ever saw Black Jesus that was on Cartoon Network, but he was the
I heard
main
of it.
main character of that. But
Okay.
hilarious skits though. But fire. It's called the name of the album is You Only Die Once. Like cover art. I think I want to get your feedback on the cover art too, because I love the cover art. I think the cover art is fire.
Mm,
But just a solid project overall. So that's the one I want to recommend. The specific song I'll recommend that stood out to me that there's a lot of songs on here I really like, but I think people would like Ruthless is the one of
Ruthless.
him kind of talking about his breakup in the past relationship. But it's I like it. Like it's dope song. Freddie Gibbs is rapping at a high rate on here. He's actually talking about a lot of the songs about how he thought about quitting rapping because of all the stuff he had going on personally and all the deaths of different artists. I also
Mm-hmm.
think you'll will recommend On the Set, which is the last song on here. And just to give a teaser of how like Freddie Gibbs is coming on this album, the first line of it on that song, or the final song of his, all man, that's not what he says, it's a cuss word, but all man, they done got Diddy. That's the first line. It's the first line on this, yo. Nah, if that makes you want to listen to it anymore, I highly recommend it. But it is, yo, dope. This is like one of those ones. This is like me and Earl are both planning on going live before the end of this year and going through our top
Mm-hmm.
albums for the year. I can already say after listening to this, it's on my list. I don't know where it's gonna fall,
Mm-hmm.
but it's on there. So yeah,
I've heard that, bro. I've heard it's like top tier, like for
yeah,
sure.
no, I enjoy. I was on the plane really like thoroughly into this album. While I was on the plane,
Mm-hmm.
it kept me going the whole time. His rapping is on point. Freddie Gibbs rapping is always good, but and another Midwest man, Indiana.
Yeah,
Shout
another
out Gary.
Midwesterner, bro. Putting on. And the cover art is fire too. That
Oh,
joint, like,
that it's crazy, bro.
yeah. So my hidden hits for the day is Diamond Boy by SZA. So if you don't know, SZA released a deluxe album of SOS called Lana. And one of the songs, Diamond Boy, that I would say that's my favorite record. She released, I think she added, if I'm not mistaken, around 12 new songs. Bruh. So by
Mm.
all means, that's an album length like edition. You know what I mean? And it's pretty thorough, yo. Like listening to it. Some of them I can tell are clearly like just B-sides from SOS that didn't make it because it just didn't reach the same musical height as like some of the other songs. Because I think SOS is one of the dopest R&B like albums in like a minute. But I would say Saturn, My Turn, and of course 30 for 30 with Kendrick Lamar
I
because it
gotta check that
actually
out.
has that what's that sample, yo? Is
Oh,
Rich Boy
those some
song.
D's.
Yeah, it's that sample,
Oh,
bro. Tough. At first I didn't
oh,
like it because I'm like, you can't just use a sample sparingly, bro. But like
nah,
as
not
the
throw
song
some
got
D's.
into it,
Throw some D's is the
you
real.
feel me?
That's a
But
classic.
once it got into it, I heard it for a few times. I was like, okay, they got some here for real. So it just makes me more excited about that tour, which I immediately need tickets for. I probably will get them. If not through work,
I
I'm just open my pockets,
did,
bro.
did your girlfriend listen to SZA?
She listens to SZA.
Okay, never mind. I know I'm not gonna be able to get that +1. But hey, look, check this out. I might have to. I might have to buy it. I might have to buckle and buy the tickets for this one, bro.
Have to, bro. It's
I'm gonna
gonna be
have to,
mad too.
bro. I know they're gonna be expensive though. I just know. I ain't even looked yet, and I just know the price is gonna be stupid.
I think I looked like as presale was about to go around, and it was already outside of my range of comfort. I'll just say
Let
that.
me tell
But
you that because I thought about it being a Christmas gift until I heard people talking about the prices. I was like, oh, she ain't gonna get no other gift then.
that's what I'm saying, bro.
So just if my girl listening to this podcast before Christmas, that ain't your gift. So just go ahead and rule that out. Let me.
Yeah. Yo, I'm weak. I'm weak.
Because
But yeah.
what I heard those tickets were going for good. Because I'm one of those people. I'm gonna be honest. If I can't have decent seats, I'm not going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not. If I'm gonna be all the way in the back, I might as well just do the live stream and just watch it like you know what I mean. Watch it online.
Unless I'm like an absolute like, oh no, I'm an absolute fan. Like I did that with Kendrick. Like that was the only time I sacrificed having like terrible seats because I just want to be there. You know what I mean?
You,
But
the only time I probably would have did that is that like if it's like some historic moment, like the pop out or something. Like for that, I probably
oh,
would.
true,
I would have took whatever
true.
seat was up in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like
yeah.
if it's a moment like that where I'm like, or if it's like a super duper legend, like you know what I mean? Like if it's like a Patti LaBelle or somebody who I just got on my
Yeah.
list of people I just want to see, then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would do it. But yeah, in general, bro, I'm gonna be at the crib because I already don't like being around that many people in general. So if I'm already and I'm gonna be in the back, I'm
I'm
just
right
not even
with
going.
you, bro. Like, shoot. You know what I mean? Like home is where my heart, my mind, like everything is at, bro. Like I rarely want to leave it for real. But we movers and shakers. We gotta do what we gotta do.
We got to be outside, man. We
We
got to.
gotta be outside.
We got to touch the people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Hey, man, another dope episode.
Another great one, bro. Yes,
Bro,
sir.
another classic look, man. We keeping it consistent, man. I know we're gonna have to we have to do something for I don't know which one we're gonna have to do something to celebrate. Maybe 50.
Yeah, maybe 50, because by that time,
By that
our
time,
listeners, yeah, would expand everything. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what's up.
absolutely. Look, man, we need y'all to share this, man. If you've never told somebody who you know, tell a friend, rapping reason, man. Dopest hip hop podcast out here, man. Breaking
Yes, sir.
down songs in a way that you're not getting these days on YouTube and on Spotify and Apple and all these different platforms, man. From two people who are working in it.
That's what I'm saying. Historians of it, scholar in your case, and people that like actually interview some of your favorite artists. So we doing it up, bro. Support us, man. I
Yes,
promise. Like you'll get like good content in return. Absolutely.
abs absolutely, man. Follow us online. Instagram is at Rapping Reason. TikTok Rapping Reason. Facebook Rapping Reason. And yeah, if you listen to us on Spotify, on Apple Music, man, just leave a review, comment, all of that good stuff. And if you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, man. And we'll see y'all next week. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Peace.
Peace.